Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Qumulex Radio. As always, I am Josh with my co-host and friend, Aaron Newman. And today we have a very special guest from Bridge Technologies. So we have Elizabeth Powell. Elizabeth, thanks for joining us today. And if you don't mind, just give everybody an idea about what Bridge Technologies does.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we have been in business now for 10 years. Um, kind of started out, I was in the Army for 8 years prior.
Oh,
And
awesome.
after that, I jumped right into the medical field. And I saw that there was a really heavy need for uh, technology. I saw, the jumps and hoops that we had to go through to get service in the medical field in the doctor's office that I worked in, and just decided I could do it better. And so that's kind of what I did. We just jumped right into it, and it's been great. It's been a great ride. We are a full-fledged MSP. So that is, IT, all things technology. I like to say
Mhm.
we're MSP plus because we do some things that others may not, but it all kind of bleeds back down to the network. So it's all relative.
No, that's very cool. So I am kind of curious. I'm breaking my rule. I was going to let Aaron talk today.
No, it's
Here I
fine. Go
go.
ahead.
So I am very curious. I actually started more in electronics and IT before I ever got into security and structured cabling, telephony, all those other things. And I did take a look at your website, and you offer a lot of these various services. So I'm kind of curious, which is the cart and which is the horse? Like, so did you start off IT and then branch out, or did you start with the other things and kind of branch into IT?
No, it's a good question. So we did. We actually started off as IT, computer help desk, computer support,
Hmm.
subscriptions, sorts of things. And our customers had other needs. You're like, hey, I hate my phone system, or hey, like I need help
Yeah.
over here. And it just kind of bled into other areas. Um, uh, we like to be able to help, and it was easily, like I said, it all goes back down to the network, so it was easily added on to services that we could offer our customers and provide them more consolidated
Hmm.
single point of contact for their businesses.
Which makes life easier, right? And I
Absolutely.
feel like that's a big component of that managed services approach
Absolutely.
is, because I'm old enough to have I was an MCSE in the late 90s. So my MCSE, Microsoft Certified System Engineer, I don't even know if they have that anymore, to be quite honest, if that's even a thing anymore.
I'm
But
honestly not sure.
yeah, you've probably never heard of it. It's so old. But my core competency was NT 4.0. Like, holy cow. So if you go back to then, I mean, it was everybody was trying to be ahead of Y2K. Y2K was like this monster that
It's
was going to
scary.
get us all. And by the way, people laugh about Y2K now like it was nothing. I'm like, what do you mean nothing? Like I spent 3 years working 80 hours a week,
I was waiting for it.
to, yeah, like we fixed it. It's not that it never was a problem. We fixed it. But yeah, that led into structured cabling. That led into security as more and more of those devices were then on the network. Telephone systems actually came in way before that went IP, just because of the number of times that somebody would be moving and you're dealing with building their new network and building their new servers and all of
Absolutely.
that. And then they're like, oh, whoops, we have a phone system too. Can you help us with that? So I think that's very, very smart. And I think that's really great, I would think, for end customers that they can just call you and you can take care of it.
No, absolutely. We try our best.
I always love a good origin story. So, having this successful, IT, managed service company, what kind of took you down the path of physical security? What made you not that accept that burden, I would say, but it's not that it's a burden, but it's definitely a point of growth, that requires a particular skill set. So yeah, kind of what started you guys off?
I mean, again, it was just the consolidation. We were managing so many other things that was kind of the outlier. Our customers, we were finding they were complaining. I love it when customers complain because it lets me know of what I could help with. And their biggest complaint was, just multiple systems for the same thing, for their access control. And they were logging into 2, 3, 4 different systems to designate user access, to register their cards. It was just a mess, and it was an opportunity that we saw that made sense with our current offerings, to kind of envelop that as well, and add that to our offering stack for our customers.
Well, it's awesome. Just in my background, I've seen let's say like 10 years ago, the IT team and the facilities team were just miles apart. They didn't want to do anything with each other. It was very siloed off. And then now, even 5 years ago, like these two teams have gotten closer and closer to where now it's a very gray line where, this model, fits, because physical security, people say that it's slow to innovate, but I kind of beg to differ. I feel like it's actually kind of catching up pretty quick, because now that with this introduction of, mobile credentials and high security credentials and, a lot of security, these algorithms, these challenge responses using, certificates, this is all something that I think is outside the realm of facility managers and their employees, and really requires that IT touch and that IT background. It's pretty cool, to kind of see it come all together and where it's going to be in 5 years. So, I mean, this kind of leads into another question I have. Just where do you kind of project your growth, over the next 5 years, and what do you kind of see Bridge Technologies doing in terms of, skill sets employed, and what you guys are doing to kind of grow your business with, both these product portfolios available to you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a tough question. So we've actually, we service and serve physically the DMV area, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, DC, I guess DC, but we are slowly going nationwide. We just, for other projects that we've done some work in California and Connecticut and in various states. And so that's kind of the ultimate goal is, to our growth nationwide on services that we can support. And then with the assistance of, local on-site technicians to help us with whatever physically needs to be handled. So that's kind of our growth set over the next 5 years, is just expanding our market. We are going to Small Business Expo here in DC on the 4th of April. So we're really excited to, this will be our first vendor event, but we're really excited to go to this event and really be able to showcase off the Qumulex product, and give some current testimonials of customers that we've currently implemented this with, and what they liked about it, what they're excited for, and how we're utilizing it in different areas.
So I have to ask on that note, what kind of attracted you to Qumulex? I'm sure you were bombarded with various offers from different manufacturers. What, to do a little plug here, what kind of brought you to us?
No, so you're right. There's a lot of players in the market. What we liked is the singular point. We liked the flexibility of the product, but also that it's a singular management point for all things physical security, and that kind of ties in, with their camera systems. And to me, that was kind of the best part. Digging into like onboarding other customers, we found that their access management database that they hadn't been updated in years. So, there was people that still were in their access list that no longer worked for the company, or no longer, should have access. And it was just out of sight, out of mind. With the Qumulex system, it does a very, very good job of put everything, front and center of visibility from start to finish. And then the flexibility of the different feature sets. There's multiple add-ons and different things that you can kind of do with the system to tailor to the customer. I found that other products were very, here's your box, and if that doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. But with the Qumulex product, there's a lot of growth that can happen for the customer into the system. So it's been nice.
I love to hear that, we're helping solve some problems, kind of hand in hand with you.
Yeah,
What are
probably
some,
didn't know existed.
yeah, but what are some of the verticals that you're having the most success with in terms of kind of solving these, siloed system problems?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I would say our biggest vertical has been housing authorities. Municipalities is huge. They have a lot of areas that they'd like to control access in various buildings and places of worship, churches, other facilities like that. I would say that would be our top three verticals that we've been able to implement this product in, with great success.
So
Do
that
you,
this is the part where you insert Terminator joke here, Josh.
oh, sorry, I didn't have a Terminator joke. So I'm kind of curious. I think managed services from an IT standpoint is very well established at this point. I mean, I remember the days where it was not and where it was sort of getting to the place where it is now. But I am curious, with security, with some of these other things that you offer, do they all fit that managed services approach really well? Or do you focus on the managed services as more for the IT and then these other things are more on a project basis out of that arrangement? Or what does that look like for you?
Um, I like to say that we are a very flexible company to work with. So if you want us, to come in on a project standpoint and put the system in, and then do a training, and then you want to ride off into the sunset yourself, and then that's great. Most of our customers do, however, contract us on a maintenance and management contract after the installation. Some of our customers, industries have high turnovers, which then requires, frequent trainings, which we don't mind doing, but it's um, a peace of mind for the customer, for the end user, knowing that they have a continuous point of contact for any maintenance or, adjustments that they need that they may be able to handle in-house. So yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you'll kind of do both. If the customer just wants a system put in and move on, that's great. Or do you have
We
customers
often
that
find
want,
that they reach back out anyway. Hey, you know what?
yeah,
We actually do need help with this.
yeah,
Or, I actually don't have the time to do this. Or can you add a new user for me? And we have no
yeah.
problems.
So another thing I'm curious about as someone who used to kind of do what you're doing, one of my biggest challenges was always like, what was the best strategy for hiring? So we did, the IT, we did outside plant construction. We had people out digging in the dirt, laying pipe and running fiber miles at a time. Yet I had people that worked on phone systems and Crestron audiovisual and all of these things. And it was a challenge for me at times to think, okay, so what do I do here? Do I want to hire people that don't know anything and try to teach them everything, but one piece at a time?
Mhm.
Do I hire people that are expert but yet flexible and want to learn some of these other systems? I mean, how do you deal with that challenge? Because that can't be easy in this day and
No,
age to
that
find
is
good people in general, yet people that are so broad in their knowledge.
that is a great difficulty, especially now. I mean, finding somebody with some sort of experience is always our preference. And a lot of times with the newer, younger generations, they grew up in electronics, it comes fluid to them. So, that
Right.
might be their experience. I have no problems training and teaching. From my standpoint, I just feel somebody with a strong um, technical background, electronic background, and it doesn't even need to be super in depth, but somebody that can navigate a phone, a computer, that's familiar with electronics. I feel like they have a leg up in the game as it is. Um, there's multiple training courses through manufacturers and other places that we can get training and I mean, yeah, that's kind of been our experience. Most of our staff is former military. Um, it just so happened to kind of be like that. But yeah, our most recent new hire, Joe, he's been with us just shy of 90 days now. He really didn't have a lot of experience in the industry, but he knows electronics and is willing to learn. And that's the big point. That's the big key, is the willingness to learn and expand their knowledge.
So hard-hitting question, will you hire a Marine or not?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just wondered. I'm one of the few people in my family not to serve, so I've just noticed the Army, Marines, there's a little rivalry there. So
Always, always.
where were you stationed, if I may ask?
Frederick in Fort Detrick, Maryland.
Oh, wow. So are you originally from there and got stationed there, or did you end
Yeah.
up in that area because?
No, I was super lucky that I was able to stay fairly local. And then again, super lucky during my time there, I was deployed to Japan. So it
Oh, that's a
was
wonderful assignment.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of hard work, long days out in the weather, but the weekends were ours. And yeah, we got to explore and travel, and it was lovely.
No, that's very cool. No,
Yeah.
you got a great spot. My mother got stationed in Fort Hood. So that's I actually liked it visiting down there. I liked the
I mean,
area.
they have
But
more amenities. There's more going on up there, definitely.
yeah, but I was actually down there when the Iraq War started. I remember watching them load up the trains and they were flying the Apaches over to the other part of the base where the trains were. And when everybody deployed, it was the fourth ID and the first cab out of there that deployed, and like that whole city just seemed empty right
Oh
around
yeah.
there, right around Colleen. I mean, it's kind of a, I don't know how I feel about it looking back, but it was just a weird feeling watching
Mhm.
everybody just kind of disappear. So,
No, I can only imagine.
but where you are, I mean, that's kind of central to, I mean, you're very close to the Pentagon where all the big decisions are being made. I mean, I feel like, I feel like there's a lot of military or federal trained people that maybe are retiring or done with their service that you would have access to. I mean, that's a pretty busy place with a lot of people and a lot of talent. So
No, I feel like this area is a very saturated area for prior military retirees. Uh, yeah,
no, it's a nice place too. I do miss the Silver Diner. Do they have them on the Maryland side too, or was that all down in
yeah.
Virginia?
No, I think there's I think the biggest ones at Ellicott City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
The path to Josh's heart is by way of food. So just
there's no question.
Too.
No, I used to work in DC a couple days a week many years back, and that was always my special gift from the company, is they give me Silver Diner gift certificates. I think we ate breakfast there every day
That's
that I was
awesome.
in town. But no, that's great. So do you think as your business continues forward, do you think you're going to see more demand and more requests for the managed services approach? I mean, do you see evolving to a place where you have more of like a call center, and then everybody's kind of managing remotely everything that they can and then growing that? Do you think it's going to stay kind of a mix of both? I mean, do you have any thoughts on where that's going to go?
You never know. One thing that I've always been adamant about, we're a 24/7 company. Not a
Mhm.
lot of small businesses can say that. And I don't foresee outsourcing to like a call center. We all take turns doing an on-call
Mhm.
rotation. Um, and I feel that that's one way that I can control to offer our customers the best customer support. Um, and yeah, I mean, ideally, with our growth, I'd like to see us expand and be able to manage things remotely. Luckily, with living in 2024, most everything is able to be managed and
Yeah.
overseen by the cloud, and with utilizing that with local on-site techs, if and when a need arises. We actually have several other clients, municipalities, that during their onboarding or during the initial installation or takeover, they'll actually fly a technician out for several days to kind of get us established in there and transition anything that needs to kind of be transitioned, doing trainings, And then we'll do frequent pop-ins, just to make sure that there isn't any questions or isn't any other needs for us. Sometimes I find with our customers, with any end user, they get so busy sometimes doing their job that they forget to say, hey, I need help with this. So I try to just take the active approach, proactive, and say, hey, is there anything that you need for us? You've been quiet. Is everything going good? And just customer feedback is paramount.
No, that's great. So what, if you could go back in time when you first started doing this, you first decided to, if you could have told yourself one thing you wish you would have known then, I mean, what would that be?
Ooh,
It had to be something along the way, and you're like, oh
yeah,
man, I wish I'd
I
have
don't
known that.
know.
I learned that the hard way.
I feel like I probably would have started earlier,
Nice.
if anything.
I like
It
that answer.
was, yeah, it was, it's always a hard transition going from being an employee to being the boss. And so that was my biggest hurdle, was leaving,
Right.
a semi-guaranteed paycheck to I'm off on my own, and we're going to figure it out on our own to figure out how to, support our family and support our employees. And that always hasn't always been an easy task, but it's never been too difficult. We're still here, and I don't foresee us going anywhere. The growth, especially after COVID, has just been exponential. Um, it was a terrible period of time for a
Yeah.
lot of people, and luckily, we were able to hunker down and um, stay small. We don't have the overhead that large corporations and organizations do.
Yeah.
And luckily, a lot of our market bounced back once everybody was kind of getting back into the swing of things.
And it feels like things are probably back to the relative normal they ever will be, right? I
Yeah, I
think we're
mean,
pretty much,
I feel so, yes. That, and coupled with a lot of our nonprofit organizations, we have access to a grants program. Not a lot of companies do that. I like to say we like to do things the hard way. And the grants process, if anybody's ever been down that road, it is not easy. And I feel like they make it that way, so
yeah.
you have to put in the work, you have to put in the effort in order to get that award, at the end. And in our market, there are so many nonprofit organizations, churches, etc., that just don't have the funding to maybe cover some of this physical security stuff, especially that they're lacking. I just find that a lot of people are lacking a system in place. And with this grants management program, they are soup to nuts, A to Z. They'll help you write it, and it's zero cost for the customer. Yes, super, super powerful. So yeah.
Really a great message, not even just for those in your part of the world. I mean, across the country, I think that there's a lack of awareness of all of the grants and the funding that have been made available, but there seems like there's a huge disconnect between where that money is kept and how that funding gets to the people that need it. I mean, it's almost like they don't even know that it's there or available.
Yes.
So it's a really great way
No,
to help those
absolutely. And
customers.
then when they do reach out or go to look into, getting grants, I feel a lot of people get trapped into the companies that are paid service, right? Like, "Oh, yeah, we'll help you with the grants, we'll write the grants, we'll do all this." And they end up spending most of their, I can say most of their word, but they end up
Yeah.
spending a lot of their allotment towards just getting it. Um, it's a very special relationship that we have with some other manufacturers that support this grants program, and they make it zero cost for the end user, which like, again is insanely powerful. So if anybody is along for a ride, willing to put in the work and the length of time that some of the grant awards programs take, it's a great tool.
No, that's great. Well, Aaron, did I keep you from asking any of your questions?
No, I think that's a beautiful note to end on. That's great. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think the note to end on is, why did I not start sooner? I mean, talk about the best of advice in life for almost anything.
Yeah,
I wish I'd have started sooner. So
absolutely.
I like it. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. This was definitely one of the more fun episodes of Qumulex Radio for me. Thanks for being a customer and thanks for your service. Really appreciate both of those things. And if you have any problems, call Aaron.
Thank you. Will do.
For the rest of you, this is probably our last episode until ISC West. If you are coming out to ISC West, enjoy Las Vegas, but make sure you stop in at the show and see us at booth 2071. And we are lining up lots of interesting guests. I don't know if we can top this one, but we're lining up more guests for after the show. So for everybody out there, good to see you, and look forward to seeing you next time. And we'll see you in our next episode in April. Thanks so much.